I'm always having Darwin sit at the doorway. I step in, he waits for me to come back to him, and then I say, okay. And I make sure that I reinforce a real calm entrance through doorways so that he's gets used to not pulling anymore. Do a little left turn to close that door. Okay. I'm gonna bring him up to his crate here. Have him sit. Good. And then he waits. Notice how I'm never restraining him. I always keep that leash loose. Open the door. And then with my right hand, I pat his chest and say, go. He goes into the crate. He loves his crate, of course, but that's why we want to manage it this way, because it's just another place where we teach him how to think, where if he wants to go in there, notice that when I went in there, when he went in and turned around, I gave him a reward as I take off his little training collar here. If he loves to go in there an extra amount, most dogs always love their crates, but if they really love to go in there, because good stuff happens with every interaction that you have with them in there, and then you control their access in and out of the crate, it makes you more serious in their minds and more powerful, and you must be in charge. Therefore, this is just another piece of the puzzle that fits together with all the other pieces where the dog's perception of you changes to one of the person in charge. Therefore, they listen to you all the time in other situations as well. And instead of just thinking you're a play toy of theirs. And then we always hang this little prong collar on the door. And Darwin has been sleeping overnight in the crate every night and throughout the day, going in and out of the crate, sometimes every hour, sometimes he's in it for a couple hours and then he's out for an hour. It's always different, but he's constantly going in and out. And every time he goes in and out, we do this whole doorway thing. He goes from here to the doorway, which I'm going to do in a minute. And let's say that he's been in here for a while. We also feed him in there. He gets chewies and bones and things like that in there. Everything good happens in his crate because really it's his den. So if you control his access in and out of his den, where he has to sit and wait to be allowed in, and then when I open the door, he has to wait until I allow him out. That's a lot of focusing throughout the day and little periods of time where he has to be in the moment and focus and think, and that focus is what calms him down. So that's why we're doing it this way. So if I'm going to take him out of the crate, I'm just going to hook up this leash to this little prong collar, and always make sure you hook the leash up to this little clip here. It's a funny looking buckle. The one that's perfectly round is just a spacer. So it's just like this. Make sure it's not twisted, because it won't work if it's not twisted. So you can let it hang like that. It's already attached to the leash. You open the crate door. If he tries to come out, he's very excited right now, but if he tries to come out, you say no. Just give a little, what I call a little token slam. No. Good. If you're going to give him a reward, make sure that he has to go inside. So you put your hand in there. Good. And then you reach in and just put this prong collar around his neck. It's always the one that's highest up, closest to his ears. The other collar's below the prong collar. And you're all ready. And I've been doubling up this prong collar to his existing choker that he's already wearing that has tags on, so that way you have a backup. So if the prong collar ever comes off, then you don't lose him. And also the prong collar makes it way easier for you to manage him out in public on a leash. And see how he just wants to jump out of there. So you really have to reinforce this. No, make sure he waits. You can even practice this thing where you step back, he waits. Good, he gets a reward for waiting. There you go. He'll very often, he just panics. He has to leap, like he's always been that way. No. Make sure that you keep him honest. This is a whole exercise in focus and concentration in and of itself with him. You control the boundary to his den. He has to wait for your permission to go in and out. This is going to help you in other areas of his training as well. And then when he does it right, he gets a reward and he gets to come out. And you just pat your leg and say, okay, and he'll come out. And I always keep this door closed, so then when you come back, it's closed, so he can't just run back into it. So always do a little left turn and close it. And then we're going to go back outside now. I'm going to have him sit. I'm going to open the door. I'm going to step out like this, which we do at every doorway, every gateway, every curb, as you know, every boundary. And then he waits till I come back, I pat my leg, and I say, okay. And I make sure that I reinforce that calm, walking through that boundary calmly, not pulling you and having a tight leash. Have him sit on the outside. And this is where I release him to be free, when he's already through the boundary and it's a fenced yard, so it's safe. Go. Now he's free.